How better go, how better go there, how better go there, how better go where, how better go here, how better now, how better go.
Where should I invest my money? Welcome back. Now, in today's episode, I'm going to introduce you to an alternative investment that will generate big money with small investments for the people that know how to do it. Now, the key is the people that know how to do it. So my name is Ted Thomas, and I've been involved in a subset of the traditional real estate business for over 30 years. Now, this is a little known but highly lucrative, abundant investment business. There's lots of it. So I've discovered an almost hidden market 30 years ago, and I never looked back. It's always going to be there, and it'll be there in the future. So it's really two businesses. One is called tax-defaulted property, and the other is called tax lien certificates. Now, tax lien certificates are a good investment because you invest with the county, you get a check back from the county, and you can earn 16%, 18%, 24%, even 36% on your money, and the check's going to come from the local government. Now, tax-defaulted real estate is taking place in all 3,000 counties, and these are properties where the county is auctioning properties for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar.
How better go where, how better go, how better go where, how better go where, how better go now.
And they wipe out, they cancel the mortgage or the deed of trust loan. They take it off the property. So if you attend one of these auctions, sometimes I've attended them, the auctions start at sometimes $100. Now that doesn't mean that it sells for $100 because it sells to the highest bidder. But the point is they start low, and if you can buy it at a low price and then sell it at a low price, well, now you got a lot of margin and you got yourself a great business. Now there's over 3,000 plus counties in the United States. They all sell tax defaulted property. There's an additional 1,500 counties that sell tax lien certificates, okay? All right, so I'll be right back and give you more details. Okay, now in today's episode, I'm discussing where should you invest your money. Other people will have opinion. I'm going to share you my experience with tax defaulted property. All right, so I'm going to narrowcast this to tax defaulted. I'm not going to try and cover the whole real estate business because it's just too big. Plus, I'm a specialist in one thing, and that's tax defaulted property and tax lien certificates. Now, everyone that you know is going to give you advice about tax liens and tax deed properties. All right, these auctions and sales are taking place year-round in all the counties in the United States. All right, so some people are giving you advice. They're young people, then there's old people, then you got relatives. You're getting advice from everybody. All right, here's the challenge. You're going to have to be careful who you listen to. Most people are not qualified to give you advice because they haven't studied tax lien certificates or tax deeds. So if you want to have help with that, you're going to have to find someone that has expertise. Most of your friends, young, old, or relatives, they're giving you bad advice. They don't intend to, but they haven't studied tax liens or tax defaulted property. So there's plenty of opportunities for a person to do this. You don't have to have a license from the governor of the state. Anybody can do it, but I do really recommend that you ultimately end up getting a coach, an advisor, a mentor, someone that will accelerate your success. All right, so what are we talking about today? We're talking about in this episode, where should you go to invest your money? Traditional real estate, that's an asset class that works for me. Now, I happen to be involved in tax defaulted part of it. So that's a subset of the traditional real estate. All right, now I discovered this market 30 years ago. I found out how profitable it was, so I haven't looked back since then. So I'm always looking for properties at tax defaulted auction. So the question is, where should you invest your money? Well, investors always want generous profits and they want low risk. Well, I can show you where there's generous profits, although there are some risks. So you want to keep your mind adjusted that this is not putting money in the bank. So I come from a very practical world, and I'm going to give you some examples to follow so that you can learn from how to do this business. All right, so what appeals to me is that all the counties in the United States, your local county, all the counties, they have tax defaulted real estate that they want to sell, and the starting bid can be just the delinquent back taxes. So that means it would be very low. Now, many times they're selling for 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents on the dollar, And what they're doing at the auction is the treasurer is authorized by the legislature to cancel the mortgage. They delete the mortgage and the deed of trust loan. So that means you're buying without those encumbrances. So you have time to look at the property. You can't go inside the property, but you can check the outside. You certainly could figure out the condition of the property. If it's bad on the outside, it's probably bad on the inside. So you understand that concept. Also, you could check the local area and find out if it's a good neighborhood or a bad neighborhood or what comparable values are. The point is, when you buy at the auction, you're buying and you're setting your margin at that point because there will be a tax assessed value. All right, you want to buy as low as possible. All right, and then you want to be able to sell it at a price higher than you bought it, but not all the way up to the tax assessed value because the property will probably be used and abused. Some of them are really junk. You don't want to buy the junk. And the other ones will just need cleanup and you can go ahead and sell them. So the point is, you want to buy properties that have margin. That's where you're going to make your money. Now, as I said, all 3,000 counties are going to auction tax defaulted property. Many times, the auction will start at only $100. I didn't say that it would sell for $100. Okay, it might start there, but the highest bidder always gets it at the auction. Always the highest bidder will get the property without a mortgage or a trust deed loan. All right, now I didn't say this was a risk-free business. This is an alternative investment. The margin is absolutely huge because the auction is going to be a planned auction where they're going to sell, could be as low as 10 cents on the dollar. So let me give you an example. I didn't say it was a piece of cake to do it, but there's powerful amounts of money to be made in these investments. So this is a good example. I purchased a property at auction. It was online, and I used a credit card to do it. All right, now I assumed my exit strategy was going to be $350,000 to $400,000, and I thought I was paying about 30 cents on the dollar. It was a big colonial home. All right, now I purchased the property from the tax collector at auction for a whopping $140,000. Okay, I later sold the property for $280,000. Now that sounds good, but there was a lot of work in between those two things. All right, plus the market went down instead of going up. All right, but I bought it for $140,000. I sold it for $280,000. What did the county do? The local county issued a quit claim deed. All right, this simply meant that the county was saying they had no responsibility for the condition of the property. They also had no responsibility for any defects in the title. All right, so the county's saying you bought an as-is property. Whatever has to be done, you have to do it to the property. So I hired an attorney. Actually, the attorney is a judge that was retiring, and I had to do a quiet title action. And to do the quiet title, that means I got to clear up all the defects. Well, sure enough, that took 13 months. 13 months. So that was not a buy low, sell low, get rid of the property quickly. So this challenge cost me 13 months of paying taxes. I had to pay the heat. I had to make sure it was clean. I had to take care of the landscaping. I had to remove the snow in the winter. I had to make sure security. All right, the point is, I did all of that. So tax defaulted properties are 100% your responsibility, but I bought it right. I bought it for $140,000. Now you can see in the background the shape of the house. This was a colonial on 5 acres with big trees and everything. I thought I was going to make a killing on the property. I did okay and made a profit, but all the problems were mine. So I had to solve the problems to make a profit. All right, so is there a guarantee of success? No, but here's the best way you can get to being successful quickly. Be sure you get a coach. The coach makes all the difference in the world. Why? Because you have someone to ask questions of, and that's going to make a difference. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying buying and selling these tax defaulted property is going to be as easy as falling out of a rocking chair. But I can tell you it's very exciting, and there's a lot of these properties to buy. Are you going to have to learn a little bit about that? Yes, but that's what business I'm in. We teach people how to do that. Now, financial success is real if you'll follow a system. Now, if you don't follow the system, you decide you're going to do it on your own, you might get yourself in trouble. All right, so this requires a low commitment in time, but every one of these properties can be bought and resold and done within months of time if you buy them right and don't try to sell them at the retail price. Remembering, of course, that these properties are slightly used and abused. They don't smell good. They're not pretty. They're not ready to go, pristine property. These are properties I know you probably looked at the internet or you probably looked at late night television. They make them all look good. I'm going to tell you, most of these properties need a little bit of work. Something has to be done. Don't buy the junkers. Buy the ones that you can turn over and sell quickly. Okay, now in these episodes that I've created, what I really want to do is I want to make sure that we're giving it to you from the investor standpoint. So pay attention. Try to embrace what I'm saying here, and you'll find that this can be transformational for you. All right, now starting a business can be a tough job. Why is it tough? Because you don't know all the answers. So you basically don't know what you don't know. And I found out when I started asking a lot of other people questions about how they did it, well, then my profits started going up. Why? Because they knew the answers, they had been through it. So you want to try to think, who are you going to get to help you? Who's going to be your mentor? Who's going to be your coach? Who's going to help you do that? So today's episode is all about a discussion on where should you invest money. I'm going to suggest you check out Tax Defaulted Property. Every county has them. All 3,000 counties will have them. Now, the county does not want this real estate. They have confiscated the real estate. They just want the revenue. So what they're going to do is they're going to discount this property down. They might sell it for $100, or they might sell it for the back taxes. They might sell it for 10 or 20 cents on the dollar. Now, if you're buying it 10 or 20 cents on the dollar, you're probably 60, 70, 80% below the tax assessed value. How many properties would you buy if you knew you could get 60, 70, or 80% discounts on those properties? And the mortgage and trust deed have been canceled from the property. So this is a business that you need to think about getting involved in. Now, I can assure you it's a lot more exciting than most other businesses are. But you have to be responsible and be able to do it yourself. You see those little white circles? That's how many auctions are taking place within that state in the next 90 days. This calendar updates every single day. I'm here today to show you how to make money. To do that, I'm going to show you briefly that there are thousands of tax defaulted real estate properties across the 3,000 plus counties in the United States. This is quite interesting. You're looking at the Ted Thomas Magic Interactive Map and Auction Calendar. It changes every day. Now, I created the calendar and the map so I would know how many auctions are taking place every day in the United States. Now I can show the little guy how to make money. Most importantly, I created this system so I could have an auction list for each auction 24/7. Financial success is realistic if you can follow a system that I've outlined in the course materials. This can be a startup business, but you could do it as a side hustle and just keep your job. Now, I always tell people, number one rule, keep your job. Number two rule, reread or re-listen to rule number one. Keep your job. Do it as a part-time job. You don't need to commit your full-time work to this until you've done a few deals. Don't buy properties unless you've looked at the property. I don't know if they had a windstorm or a hurricane or it's next to a pig farm. You're not going to be able to sell properties if they're damaged, so keep that in the back of your mind. Also, your exit strategy is important, so know what the comparable values are before you buy. I'm Ted Thomas. I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget, request your free auction list right below me.